Yep, good evening everyone. So last session we discussed about routing, how the routing works, the basic. I uploaded the complete folder, uh, the app module file and the app routing module file and the folder I uploaded. You have to try it, right? In routing, so many concepts are there. We will see some more here. Another option here is shopping. Okay. In the routing, another topic you need to understand is already what we learned, how to configure the basic routes. We have learned about router module. We learned about how to import and how to export the routes. We discussed about router link and router outlet. We used these options. Router link is used for navigation, defining the navigation. Links are defined by using router link, where the resulting markup must be rendered. That is decided by router outlet. Outlet indicates where the result is rendered. FAQs I will tell you after this topic. Some important questions are there. We will discuss about them. So generally, a router outlet is going to manage the location where you want to display the result. So here some more basic things you need to understand, which I will show you. So it is running successfully. We will start localhost, and this is our project. By default, it loads shopper home. And when you click on electronics, jewelry, those content will come here and display. These are the products, electronic related, jewelry related, they are loading. Now here we need to use one more concept is when user clicks on any product, the product detail should come. That means we need to transport from one location to another. So we can put a simple option like details. That means we can put an option called details. You click on details of that product, the product detail should open in the next screen. So we need to navigate from one page to another, means one component to another. But here challenge is actually we have products component is there. In the products component, we are displaying the products preview we are showing here. And we will keep a option here called details. When I click on details of any product, this information must be transferred. This detail of that product must be transferred to another component. And here we need to pass the detail to another component. This component name is, suppose this is product details component. What should happen in that product details component? The detail of the product must display. The detail of product must display. That means the product photo and the product details like its name, its price, its rating, all those information should display. But the question here is how to transport the information about product from one component to another. We learned input output properties. that is parent child. This is not parent child. Completely from one component to another. This is not child. That means product details is not a child of products. Product details is a separate component. We have to transport data from products to product details. In that, we need to display those product details. How we transport? We can do that by using route parameter. We can do that by using route parameter. So route parameter, through route parameter, what we do here, we will send like this, products slash the product ID we will send. Parameter can be any number of parameters or any type of parameter. It can be a number or a string or a boolean, anything. We have to collect the parameter. What is the parameter ID? We need to pass this parameter from the location and we need to use it. We need to pass the parameter. This parameter need to be passed and it should be displayed. This parameter need to be collected here. We have to collect the parameter here and we should display the product that belong to that particular ID. So that means ID must be passed and we need to collect the ID and we need to use it. Now here lot of steps are there. First step, how to define a route with parameters. Second step, how do we pass values into those parameters. Third step, how to collect those parameters. So first step, you need to configure parameters. Second step, you need to pass values into those parameters. Third step, we have to collect. So for that, lot of work is there in Angular. So what we have to do is actually route parameters. So what is the concept? Let's see. Route parameters concept is a parameter can transport data from one component to another. A parameter can transport data from one component to another. And actually parameter is configured in Angular route. In Angular route, how to configure parameter is, we are expecting details here. We have to define path. What is the path? Path is details. Okay. Into that details path, we need to pass ID. Then what we have to do is, the parameters are passed by using /:, and the parameter name. We have to define the parameter name. /: and parameter name. Parameter name is nothing but ID. ID or name or anything. We have to define the parameter name. If there are many parameters, again /:. Another parameter, some name. Another parameter /:, some price. Like this, you can pass any number of parameters. And you have to define component. Which component should come? Some details component should come. That is how we configure the route. First, you need to define the route that can access the parameters. And this is mandatory. And every parameter is mandatory. There is no chance of ignoring any parameter. If a route is expecting parameters, you have to pass values into all parameters. If any parameter you missed, then it will simply say not found. So it is mandatory that every parameter need to be configured. It must be supplied with a value. You cannot have any parameter undefined. There must be some value inside it. Okay, next step is another important point now is how to pass the values into this. Generally, parameter values are passed in the URL. You can pass in the URL or through which one, router link. Through router link we can pass in the URL or through router link. In the URL, how do we pass? So http://localhost 4200 slash what details /1 /tv /some price, like this we pass. That means every parameter is separated with a simple slash. Every parameter is defined with a slash. So we have to pass these parameters. Now, very important, these parameters values are stored in these references. What is the reference? ID, name, and price. That means actually what it will do. So actually, route parameters is an object. This object contains key and value. The key is ID and the value is 1. The key is name and the value is TV. And the key is price and the value is some price. That's how it defines. Now what you have to do? We have to collect these values and use them. So that means you have to access the parameters and use in any component. You have to access the parameters and use in any component. We have to access the parameters and use in any component. How? For that, actually, Angular, so by using Angular, activated route service. Angular have an activated route service. By using this activated route service, you can collect the parameters. And you know how to use a service. That means what we have to do? In the constructor, we need to inject. So what is it? So route. So this is activated route. So route, it is of what type? Activated route. We have to inject the service. Now you can access this route provides a method called snapshot. It provides a method called snapshot. Route have a method snapshot. It's a property snapshot. So route snapshot have a map. Is a map. Map means JavaScript map. What is JavaScript map? It contains key value collections. What are the key value collections? Route parameter is key and whatever value you pass this value. And how to get a value from a map? You have to get the value from a map by using get. Get, what is the key? Key is ID. Then it is going to return 1. That is how we access the route parameter. We can access the route parameter by using snapshot. Route by using an activated route service. So configuring the routes with parameter, passing values into the route. Another one. So accessing the parameter and using it. Once you access, you can use. Once you got the ID, that ID related product details you can get and display. Let's do this process now. So here, what I will do is, I will create one route for details. That means we need a details component. Shopper, what we will do? Shopper, electronics, shopper, jewelry, we have shopper, these details. Okay. Now what we will do is we will add another component, ng generate component, shopper details component. So we will create a shopper details component, skip test. Okay. Shopper details component is generated. So I am generating the component called shopper details. Okay. This must be in the path. Any component you added and you want to use in routing, it must be configured in the route module. So let's go to router module. In the router module, keep all wildcard routes at the end only, right? And here I'm adding another path. So what is the path? So we need to define path. Yeah. What is the path? Path is what? Details. Which component to come on details? The component which have to display. Component. Which component? So we will use the component. What is it? Shopper details. Shopper details component. Okay, that is the component to come. That's fine. But details is initially just empty. There is nothing defined in the details. It is just empty. First we will test, is it working or not? I will go here and type what? Details. And you can see details is working fine. Details works. Okay. Now into this details, we need to configure parameters. First I will show you parameters. First we will see rough parameters. /: ID / name / price, like this. You can add any number of parameters. Okay. Now route is expecting parameters. Without passing the parameters, it says not found. That means now I request details. It says not found. We will do one thing. Go to not found HTML. Here we will keep a simple code block. And here we say page you requested not found. This message we are using. Usually code block is a HTML block which will show automatically red. That is a HTML block, right, which automatically shows red. So you can give some heading style. So that means it will display that in a large. Right? Code is a default element in general HTML. Now, when I entered details, why it is showing not found? Because every parameter defined is compulsory. How to pass the parameter in the URL? /ID is 101, /name is mobile, /price, some price is some price. I hit enter. We are not collecting parameters, just we are configuring them. Enter. Now details is working fine. That means every parameter mentioned is compulsory to pass. If you miss any parameter, it says not found. Every parameter is mandatory, compulsory. So this is one important. Now, how to collect these parameter values and use them? How to collect the parameters? Let's go to details component. In the shopper details component, how to collect the parameter? We need a import, we need a service. What is the service? Activated route. We need a service called activated route. So we will inject it. So private route, it is of what type? Activated route. Now what you can do is, here I will just collect the details. That means suppose I need to collect 3 details. So temporarily what I will do, public product ID. Product ID is what type? Some number, right? So number, or I will make it as a simple any type of object. Okay. Just I kept it is an any type of object simply to collect all the details. Huh? Now here what we are doing, this dot product ID. So not product ID, just product. Product is an object, and into that we will pass some details. How to collect ID? To collect ID, this dot route dot snapshot. Snapshot has a map. We call that as param map, parameter map. Actually, it is a parameter map. So we have to use param map. It is a parameters map, right? We have to use the option dot param map, parameter map. In the parameter map, you have a method called get. Get is map is a general JavaScript map object. So map get what? ID. Now you can get the ID there. Now similarly, next one, name. So this dot. So yeah. So we need to this dot route dot snapshot dot param map dot get. So get what? So name. That is the parameter. And another price. So this dot route dot snapshot param map and dot get, and this is price. Now these details we want to print in the UI. In the details component, here we want to display. That means here I will just put a heading, product details. In the product details, we want to display. So what we want to display? Data list. In that data term, so one is product ID. How do we define it? Just data definition. So we need to access product. Product is the object dot ID. That is the value. Next data term is price and data definition. So we have product dot name. The next data term is, yeah, the next one is name. Yeah, any order doesn't matter. I will print the name at the end, right? This is price. Okay, and this is name. So what we will do, product dot name. And you can see here in the details, we need to pass them. What is it? Somewhere, this is not semicolon, right? It's an object. Now here in the details, we are passing details slash ID is 101, name is some mobile, and price is some price. And enter, those details will come. Some additional parentheses are used here, right? Now it is going to get the detail and display those details here. So it will get the details and display. So we have product ID, the product price and name. So 3 stages are there. First stage, you have to configure the route with parameters. Second step, we need to pass values into those parameters. Third step, we have to collect the values and use them. And to configure the route with parameters, you need this. And this is how we define. To pass the values, this. You can pass by using router link also. How you pass by using router link? Generally, to pass by using router link, what we have to do, we need to keep an anchor. And anchor, what we have to do, router link. Into that, what we are expecting, details, /1/TV/ some price. Like this we pass. That is how we generally pass the parameters. And those parameters are collected and used in the another one. This is just syntactical example. Just a syntactical example. We will implement this in our project now. In that application, we will implement that. That means when user sees every product, for every product, there should be a details link. There must be a details link. So I will just first give you the temporary example here. That is shopper. First, add a component. Add a new component, and this component is ng generate component shopper details. That is the component. And shopper details. Next, what you have to do, app routing dot module dot ts. In this file, you need to add the route in this way. This is the line I am giving. That is how we need to define. After that, next step, we have to go to shopper details dot component dot ts. Here we have to collect, right? So I am collecting those parameters and using them. And one more option, shopper details dot component dot html. Here we are presenting. I will upload this example actually. Okay. But this is just syntax based to understand how to pass parameters, how do we collect the parameters. Now let's clean up this code. Why? Because in shopper details, product details, okay. Yeah. In shopper details component, so all this not required. To collect the route parameters, activated route is required. But what we have to do is, when user clicks on home, and I will go in router module also. In router module, we are expecting only product ID, not name and price, so that we can filter the product based on ID. Okay, right. Now see what we are doing here. So we will simply remove this. Details is directly working. So it is expecting only one ID. Now, when I click on electronics, electronic products are loaded. Below every product, I need details link. Let's go. Electronics, shopping electronics.html. In this is a card. We are designing card. Card header. I will create a div. So this div will be class card footer. In the card footer, I will put an anchor. This anchor will use a word called details. And here we will configure router link. It should navigate to which path? It should navigate to details. Slash. Into that, you need to pass the current product ID. That means we will put a dynamic expression. Into that, I will pass item dot, what is it? ID. It will pass the product ID. It is going to pass the product ID. That means now you can see in the footer of every electronic product. Let's load that. It is taking time. Yeah. Electronics. When it loads every electronic product, under every product there is a details link now. There is a details link. Right? We can put a button. We can put a link. So I will show you various methods how to navigate dynamically, how navigation happens. This link appearance you can change like a button. That means we will put a class btn and btn suppose info. And you can see these looks like a details button. These look like a button only. That means we are just using a W100. So then it will fit those options there. That means that is the details button. Now when I click on details of this product, and you see it is navigating to details and it is passing that ID. But here one interesting part is that this is very important. currently we are in which route? Electronics. Now this route must be removed. In that place details should come. But every route that you generally add will be added to current route. That means you click on details. Then what will happen is that details will be added here, /details. That is wrong path of. Yeah, wait 1 second, online people. Here we have some power issue. I will just start in 1 second. You can switch on that button. Okay, okay. Okay, so here what we need to do is we need to click on that option here. So we need to click on this details and observe what happens when I click on details. It should say not found. Why it is saying not found when I click on details, not found? Because it is adding this path to the existing path. But whatever the path is there, it should clean up and add the new. That's a simple trick actually. What you have to do is just go here, wherever you are using a router link, there before that details you need to add a /. If you don't add /, it will continue the existing path. Whatever existing path is there, it will continue. That means the new path is attached to the existing path. The new path should replace the existing path. Then we have to put a /. That is how we need to configure. So now it will clean up the existing path and it will put this as a new path. That is correct. So now you can see I click on details. And when I click on details, you can observe that now details is working fine. You can see details is working fine. Now observe here the product is coming. Suppose I want to go back from the same location. I need to go back. That we will do. For that first we have to collect the product details. We need to collect the product details here. That means we need to get the product details. So that means we need to collect which parameter ID. We have to search for this product in fake store and get the product details which is matching with that ID and display here. How do we do that? You already know. So already, do we have any service for that? Go to shopper details. In the shopper details, first we need to collect this ID. We need to collect the ID and we have to use. We can collect the ID and we will use it. But for that, one point is, first point here is there any service? Let's go to services. In the service, API data service, there is no service for returning any specific product. Am I right? There is only service for returning all. There is no service for returning any specific product. So what we will do, we will create one public. What is it? Get product. Okay. Get product is an observable. So observable, and it is an any type because it is just an object. And what it should return, this dot. So it is expecting URL, right? So what we have to do, URL is what type? String. And it should return this dot http dot get. So any type object. So the URL we will pass. This is to get only one product. One product related information we want to access. For that we created a service method called get product. Okay. Now here in the details, shopper details component, we injected already one service called activated route. Can we inject multiple services? Yes. Because simply we have to put a comma, another private, another API service we will inject. So it is API data service. You can inject any number of services into a component. So if anyone asks you a question like, can we inject multiple services into one component? Yes. You can inject multiple services into a component. So we injected this API service also. Here we are expecting first this public. We have product. Product is any type object. Next, we are expecting another one. What is it? Product ID. Product is ID is what? It is a number type, and initially it is set to 0. Now what should happen when on initialization? We need to get the product ID from the parameter. How to get the product ID from the parameter? So by using this dot product ID is equal to this dot, what is it? Route dot snapshot dot param map dot get what? So get ID. That means it is returning it. But whatever it returns, it will be is a string format. But we need to convert this into a number format. You know, we have parse int method now. By using parse int, we can convert the string into number. Now it is showing some problem. Why? Because it is expecting a number. It is expecting a number. You are actually accessing this. You see, it says that it is string or null. That means this is param map is not assignable to the parameter string. It is not assignable to the parameter string, but actually this is a number, or what type it is? String type. Or another option, you can configure as what type? Null. But actually parameter is a number or string type. You don't need to do that. Just we can access that and display here. Now you see default, it is having number, right? It is having number. So what is the problem here is the parameter is string. The value returned by parameter is number, and the value you stored initially is number. This is lot of type issue. How do we resolve this? You can do one thing. You don't need to declare any parameter. You can directly access the parameter and use it. Or I will tell you another technique for that. Actually what we do here, first what we need to do, we need to fetch the data which is belonging to that particular product and display. We have to use this dot API dot, what is it? Get product. Get product is expecting URL. What is the URL? http:// what is it? fakestoreapi.com/products/ we have to pass dynamically. What is to be passed? The product ID. How to collect the product ID? Product ID we can collect from this dot route dot, what is it? Snapshot dot param map and dot get, and what is the parameter? Parameter is what? ID. We can get that product ID and display. Directly we can pass. Directly we can pass. That means we are accessing the route parameter and we are directly passing into this. Now, you know, after passing this, because it is an observable, we need a subscribe method. This subscribe method will get the data. What we need to do, we have to apply this dot data, this dot what? Product. Into that, we need to supply the data. Understood? Now, whatever data is collected and it is returned. Here, one important point will be there. Actually, this subscribe is going to return the data and it is going to store in product. I will try to print the product here. What is the data coming? We need to print the product. So that means let's go to the shopper details. Now you know what is the information present. I will give data term. So title. How to display the title? We will access the product. The product is expecting which property? Title. We are accessing the product title. That means when user clicks on that product, the product title is coming here. The 10th product title is coming here. We can display more detail your wish. You can display in a card style or anything you can do. For example, what we are doing here, we are creating a div. So, and in the div, we are displaying a class as row. So class as row, and in this we have a div. So class as call 3. Yeah, so call 3 or 6. And we have another div, and in this class as call 6. And here we want to display some details about the product, data list, data term. One is title. Data definition, title will come by using product dot title, product dot title. Similarly, another data term, price, it will come from product dot price, and this is having currency pipe. And we have another data term, so rating and data definition. So here we will put this dot, product dot rating, product dot rating dot rate. Here I will put a span, class BI star fill, and text success. And here we will put a option like product dot rating dot count. We are just displaying those details. And right side, we want an image for that. And image source will come from product dot image. So width I will give 100% and height I will give as 300 pixels. That is enough. This is the product data it should display here. The product details. So here we have rating dot count, right. Now it is going to display all the product data here. It is going to display that. I will give some 50% is enough, I think. So it's use. Now this is the product data and displayed here. Now let's go to electronics first. You will get the details here. I click on detail of any product. The product detail should come. The product detail is displaying. From here, I must able to go back. From here, I must able to go back. Go back to which location? Go back to category. Which category? Current category is electronics. I need to go back to electronics category. So we can put here in the details, anywhere here, I will keep a simple div. We will keep an anchor and we will say back to categories or back to which one I will use product dot category and pipe symbol. I will use title case. Okay. Back to that particular category. That means which category? It is showing that back to electronics category. You can see back to electronics. Now I click on back to electronics. That means here we have to define it as what? Router link. It should navigate to which path? Where is the router module? It should navigate to, in the router module, it should navigate to electronics. Na? It should navigate to electronics, where it is displaying all the electronics. That means just what we have to do, we need to here details component HTML. Where is it? Here in this HTML router link, what it should do, slash. I need to just pass. Here we need to pass. What is it? Product dot what? Category. It will pass the category. Category is electronics. That means now I click on the back to categories, back to electronics. It will get back to electronics. I am selecting here any product. So the product details will open here and back to electronics, and it will get back to the electronics and display those products. So this is what you implemented for electronics. This is what you need to implement for all. But very important, details is same. In jewelry, what you have to do? In jewelry home also we need to put the details. Navigation is same. Navigation is same. That means only one details will be there for all of them. So we have to go to which one? Jewelry. In jewelry HTML, we will keep better. I will copy that electronics div footer is there na, copy. Same footer we have to use everywhere. In details, not it is electronics. It is what? Jewelry. In jewelry HTML, here I will put that one. That means it is going to pass the current item related ID. Now the same thing I have to do for another. Let's go. What is it? Woman. For woman, oh, we haven't written a. We can write that later. Huh? If you want, you can write that. I have written only two, I think. We written only electronics and jewelry. Similarly, you have to write for all. Huh? I haven't written for all of them. Electronics and jewelry are written. You try to write for all. Men also not written. Huh? So men also I haven't written. You try, right? I am giving just two options. Others you can try. So now I will click on details of any jewelry product, and that product detail should come here. It must access the detail and display. And see, back to jewelry it is showing. So when I click on back to jewelry, it will get back to jewelry. Right? You can navigate from one location to another. Right? This is a simple navigation. And here the main concept is route parameters. How do we pass the route parameters? How do we handle? So route parameters we can pass by using three phases. Three steps are there. First, configure the parameters. Second, pass the parameters. Third, collect the parameters. Parameters are configured /: and parameter name. Parameters are passed by using just / and the parameter value. Parameters are collected by using activated route. Now here, so many points are there. We can even create a nested route. Nested route means a route inside route. we can create a nested route. For example, when I click details, the details coming here. Actually, this is product title, price and rating and product photo. There is a product description. This is a product description that I am not showing here. What we will do is when user clicks description, then it can show the product description. That means what we will do is, where is that details page? In details HTML page, we will create another division. So here we will keep 3. Here we will keep 6. So here we will keep 3. That means, and another div. We will put a class as call. And this is also 3. And here we will put a, suppose text area. I am giving text area. Rows for text area is some, how many rows? 4. Calls for text area, I will give some 30 columns. Actually, a text area will come at the right side corner like this. This is text area. So this is, suppose rows is 4, 5 rows, and here columns is suppose 50 columns, and you can see it increases like this size. Now what I will do is, so here in this text area, I want to display the description. Suppose I think 10 is enough, because text area will give a scroll bar, right? It will give a scroll bar actually. Now in this text area, we want to display the description, product related description, which user can scroll and watch. That is actually simple. Here we can directly display that. How do we display here? I am just using here product. So product dot description, product dot description we are defining. Actually, that is the value we need to display into that. The product description will come here. The product description will come here, right? And suppose I am going back to jewelry, because some products are electronics. Some products have a lot of description details, and the product description will come. That is the product description. Suppose you are having the height rows, I will give some 5 only. Then you will see that automatically the scroll bar will come. We can read the product description here and display. Every product have a different description here. But what I want here is, this must display when only user wants it. That means you click. So for that product details, that description, that should come. That means what you have to do is, under this product image, we will put a div and we will put a button. So, or we will just put a link. So anchor. So here we say details. Details are description. Description I am giving here. Description, and this I will just put a class BTN and BTN, suppose success, like this. Now you can see this is the button description we are having below. We are having like this. Okay, now I will give this as suppose 4 columns and this is 2 columns. So that is fine. And this I will give W100. Actually, that is how it is going to show. W100 is very much. I'll just give a small one. Okay. Okay. Now I will put a class as a margin top 2. Okay. Now you can see the description will come like this. Now when I click on this description, then it should display right side. Then it should display right side. Now, how to manage? Actually, it is not showing and hiding. Description we will keep in a separate path. We will keep in a separate path. And not only description, we can just put only these details. Even photo also I can hide. Photo also I will remove. And when user selects more, then photo and description should come. That means you can put a button called more, and when user clicks more, then this information can come. That means now we need to add another path. That path name is more details. But that more details have to display the details not in a new screen, in the same screen. In the same screen it should display. That means what should happen here? So it should keep these details here. Understood? It should keep these details here, and these details should open as a separate path. As a separate path. They should open as a separate path. They should not display like this. That is the requirement. Sometimes you have such requirements. Within that, again, details. In that case, what you can do is how to configure a route inside another route. So that means actually, suppose we are not displaying details and description. We are not displaying details and description. Remove this part. That means in that only what is there? Only the product details are present. Only the product details are present. So what we will do here, so instead of back to electronics here, we will put data definition another one. Here we will put an action. Here we will put class BTN and BTN some success. Here we will say as more details. Understood? More details. Now this more details, that is the button we are having more details. When I click more details, it should navigate to description and it should display the description right side. That means currently which path it is? Currently it is details path. In details path, you want another path. In details path, you need another path to configure. This is very complex little. Another path, how to define? First, we will add a component. What is the component name? Shopper details are there, and we will add another component here. ng generate component shopper more details. Am I right? We have shopper more details. Okay, and skip test. Okay, we have details, we have more details. Now, this more details also must be in the path. But this should open here. Let's go in the routing here. Let's go to the router module. In the router module here in the details, it should work inside details only. That means inside this details, it should work. So this details can have a property called children. Children is an array. This is an array. And what is the purpose of this children array? It is used to, actually this children array, it is used to define child routes. This is used to define child routes. Inside the details, child routes. What is the route, child route here? What is the child route here is? So path, here we need to define path. What is the path? The path is what? More details. More details. Into that, we need to pass the current ID again. Because we need to get the detail of that product now. Detail of that product. Again, we need to get the detail of product, but this time we will display only image and price. Now, how do we pass? Again, it is expecting what? ID. Again, it is expecting ID, but this time, which one it should send? It should get the component. What is that? Shopper component is what? component shopper more details component should come. This is child paths. That means inside detail again routing. Inside details area again routing is working. Now what should happen? More details is working. Let's see now. We need to define this in the details. Let's go to details. On this button click, what to navigate? On this button click, we have to navigate. What is it? So router link. Router link is equal to, what is the path? Router link path is what? More details slash. We have to pass the current product ID. Na? That means we need to put product dot what? ID. I should not use here slash, because more details is not a new path. It is a path in an existing path. Understood? It is a path within the details path. Then we have to use directly, not slash. If you use slash, it will remove the previous path and it will add the more details. More details is not available directly. It is present in that path. But observe here now, still see, I click on more details, that more details it is passing here. And after passing here, where it should display the result must be displayed in this area. Na? We need another outlet here. We need an outlet na, to display the result of any path. To display result of any path, we need an outlet. That means where should be the outlet now? It is in details. Outlet should be in which location? Right side column. That means here we will put another div. What is that? So class is what? Column how much? 9. In that 9 column, what we need to do? We need to put a router outlet. I am keeping an outlet here. Now the router outlet, you can see here, it says shopper details working. Understood? Let's come one level by level. First, jewelry. I click on details. That product details will open. I click on more details, then this will open. Route inside route. This is nested routes. We can configure the nested routes by using what? Children. Children is used for. Now what you have to do in that more details? In the more details, you have to collect the route parameter. What is the route parameter? ID. And in that you have to display the product related details. What details? Only 2. One is image. Another one is description if you want. I hope you can try that. You can try now. Already I showed you that. That means what you have to do in that more details, collect the parameter and display the details of that product. Right? For that already we have a service, right? So go to more details. Where is it? This is more details. In more details component. So here we need to design. Here we need 2 options to collect. What we have to collect? We need to collect private. One is route. It is of what type? Activated route. Another one private. It is API. It is of what type? API data service. And here what we need to do? Again we need to create a public. What is it? Product. Product is any type of object. And we need to fetch by using this dot API dot get product. Into the get product, what is the URL? HTTP, what is it? Fake store API.com/products/ what is the product? So product ID na? Product ID means we have to get from this dot route dot snapshot dot param map dot get which one? ID. We need to collect the ID and dot what? Subscribe. We need to collect the data and implies this dot product is equal to data. That is all the work we need to do. And the product details we need to display in the more details page. So in the more details page, here we need to display, suppose I am just keeping heading. So heading as more details. And here I am displaying, so product dot suppose description. I am using product dot description. That means actually that is the product description. In the more details, the description will come. I am displaying the more details description instead of description. Here, where to put that? You have to put that in a text area. In a text area, we will keep that description. In a text area, we will keep the product description. So rows is equal to how many rows? Suppose 50 rows. Calls, rows is just 5. Calls is equal to some 50 columns. We will define that. And here above we need a preview image. So what is it? Image source is equal to what is that? Product dot image. So width is some 200 and height is also 200. Like this we define. Actually, we will put a break. You put a divs and all in a proper presentation style. If you want, you can display that. It will display. It is displaying line breaks. I will remove. You can display multiple columns so that it will display side by side. I'm just going back to the jewelry and I am clicking on any product. The product details will first open here. Basic details. When you click more details, then this will come. That is going to display more. That is how we are going to handle nested rows. Presentation your wish. You can define in any way. So you selected electronics, the electronic products. You click on details, basic details. You click on more details. The more detail about that product will display. It is scrollable now. You can display like ordered list, unordered list. You see some websites, they show bulleted list. All the description will come in the form of a bulleted list, ordered list, unordered. 24 MB RAM, 60 GB ROM, something like this. They display all the details. But this is a simple concept of handling navigation within the routes. These are actually nested routes. This is the concept of nested route. This is how we define the nested route. That means in the details, again we have more details. And very important here, in many experience interviews, they ask, can we have multiple router outlets? In a page, you cannot have multiple router outlets, but router outlets can be nested style. At a time, you cannot use multiple outlets. That is not good. A router outlet must be how many? One. But in that output, there can be another outlet. You cannot have two outlets side by side. Suppose you see more details is there. Na? Where is the more details? Yeah. In more details, so this is displayed in details. Shopper details. Here we are using outlet. Suppose I am using another outlet, router outlet. Two router outlets are there. Actually, if two router outlets are there, you can see 2 times it is displaying. It will work. But this will be an issue when you are displaying multiple contents later. So in interviews, this is a tricky question. If anybody asks, can we have multiple router outlets in a component? You can have. But these router outlets can override the content later. That is the reason not recommended to use multiple outlets at a time. Better to use nested style. Nested style, we saw that. What is the nested style is? So in one route, another route. This is child routes. How do you configure the children? Now this is simple concept of configuring the routes. In this, another major part is authenticating the routes. Authenticating means now what I want is, I don't want anybody to access electronics, jewelry, men's, women until or unless he logs in. That means currently any route is accessible. Anybody can request and access. But I don't want anybody to access these routes until or unless he logs in successfully. That means I need to put a login screen, and after login success, then I should take him to electronics or jewelry or anything. If anybody tries to open electronics, jewelry, any fashion, it will directly go to login first. It will not open that. That is authenticating. Authorizing the routes. That you can do by using a concept called route guards, and you have to use another concept, cookies, because cookies are used for verifying whether user is logged in or not. So by using cookies and by using route guards, we can authenticate the routes so that everybody cannot access your content. Only the people who successfully logged in can access. For that, you need two implementations. One is cookies, another one route guards, that we will see in next session. Up to this, first you need to practice. It's not so easy as you see it. Right? It may look very simple and easy in visualization, but in implementation, it is very complicated. What you have seen is very complex. Nested routes, any small mistake you've done in parameters, route configurations, it will not work. You have to be careful in that. I will upload this entire again with all the latest things, what we have updated today. Again, one more zip file I will upload. In that, all the latest update will be there. Then in the next session, we will discuss cookies and authenticating of routes. Okay, you will learn so many things about route. Some more points are there. We will discuss, right? That we'll see in next session. Right? Monday we'll continue. Right?